What's going on, everybody? I'm Jiffy Nano, and today we're going to go over my new M.O.Z.A.B build. But before we get into anything, this build has a huge epilepsy warning. This has a lot of visual pollution and flashing particles, so if that is a problem for you, I would definitely click off the video. Also, if you find this video informative, a like rating is always appreciated. Consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you see my future uploads. And almost all of my builds are theory crafted and tested on my live stream. If you want to take part in making these builds, check it out on Twitch, link in the description. I stream Monday and Wednesday afternoons, Friday, Saturdays in the mornings. Also, I have recently started a Patreon at the request of some fans, some friends. Check that out. Link is also in the description. No obligation, but it's there if you want to support. So this whole build spawned from the idea of using the while auto bear is active anoint and exploiting fire in the skag den. Fire in the skag den is currently one of the most powerful skills in the game as it gets increased damage from mayhem scaling. So the higher the mayhem level, the more damage it puts out. With this in mind, we are using splash damage weapons and most of the blue tree. So here are the skill trees. We are, as I said, all the way down the blue tree for short fuse and all the way down the green tree for forge. So as I said before, this whole build is based around abusing fire in the skag den and the while auto bear is active anoint. And there's a class mod perfect for both of these things that I rarely see anyone else use, the rocketeer. The rocketeer comm makes it so when you hop out of Iron Bear, the auto bear lasts for the rest of your action skill duration rather than the normal 15 seconds. And we can extend this duration even further with the skill deadlines, which returns fuel to Iron Bear as you get kills. This combined with some of the other Iron Bear skills makes Auto Bear last for an extremely long time. The Rocketeer also gives us extra points in the fire in the skag den, letting us abuse that damage even further. This extremely long auto bear duration is made even better with the fact that auto bear doesn't seem to use any fuel when it fires the weapons. So right now my favorite weapons to use on Iron Bear is actually hammered down protocol nukes. They have a huge blast radius and they can kill a bunch of enemies at once. And because auto bear doesn't use fuel, he can get way more shots out than you would if you were piloting him. You can also use target softening rockets to debuff enemies that you're shooting at, but these deal much less damage than any other weapons you could choose from. I also use the explosive miniguns for a little bit because they're pretty strong. The only thing I wouldn't use is the flamethrower, since I'm putting up Iron Bear somewhere where he can shoot at enemies, but not so close where he's blown himself up. Now on to the other gear. For the most part, as long as you're using splash damage, you're going to be dealing a lot of just damage overall. I spent a lot of time using the Big Boom Blaster and spamming rockets like the Backburner. I wanted to use the Nukem just for flavor, but it just didn't do as much damage as I would like it to, but it looks cool. What's nice about Moze right now, especially with Fire on the Skag Den working the way it does, is there's a lot of weapons you can use. Almost anything that deals splash can deal some serious damage, which means this build can do some serious work whether you have the DLC or not. I was really enjoying the Tiggs boom for a while, as the meteors it spawns can really add to the spectacle, and with the nukes and just Iron Bear and stuff raining fire down, but some other good weapons are things like the Westergun, the Kibsworth, the Plague Bear or the Backburner, the Flipper and the Beacon if you have DLC 3, and some of my favorites. As of August 20th, 2020, the Sawbar and the Ogre received some huge buffs and can do some serious work right now. Just make sure if you're using the Sawbar that you get that range down where the bullet splits. Just try and figure that out. The regular shots of the Sawbar are pretty weak, but that split explosion is kind of insane. It's a bit awkward, but once you get it down, it's super fun and is the perfect delivery system for Fire in the Skag Den. As for shields, you can use pretty much whatever you prefer. Like I mentioned, I used the Big Boom Blaster for a while so I could spam rockets, but you could also use a Transformer or an Old God. Artifacts, it's honestly hard to tell what I would go with. Of course, there's things like the Auto Idol and the Victory Rush, which are nice, but I really don't think there's any prefixes that help much. If you wanted to use mostly radiation weapons and go with an Atom Bomb to increase your explosion potential, but I'm not sure how much it'll actually help, so it's really up to you. Unfortunately, not even after all the grenade buffs, they're still pretty weak, so the Cloning Maddening Tracker is still the best grenade for Moze, but I was using a fastball with the 25% damage on grenade throw, and it did fine. I was having a great time running this build and takedowns with friends and viewers. Auto Bear almost acts like a fifth player and can even get you second wins if you go down. The absolute chaos on the battlefield is super fun, nukes going off, enemies getting stunned and knocked around. My only wish is if Iron Bear could follow you around and act like a giant metal escort drone. But beggars can't be choosers, and this was still a great time. So if you are on PC and you want to give this build a shot, you can grab my save file in my Discord, link in the description. If you're on console, I'm sorry, but there's no way to transfer saves at the moment. But hopefully, most of the parts of this build are pretty easy to get, so good luck. If you enjoyed this video and build, consider checking out my other builds in the playlist on screen. Also consider subscribing, giving the video a like, checking out my Twitch channel, checking out my Patreon, and thank you so very much. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know how much overkill that is. Yeah, it carries over.